Okay, well, let's do some news stories. This one I've seen before, but we got something very exclusive. A video, cops handcuff black pastor wandering neighbor's flowers. It says cops handcuff a black pastor watching and wandering the neighbor's yard. Okay, let's get to it.
An indisputable exclusive. No other news agency has this video. Let me remind you of the pastor in Alabama who was arrested for watering his plants. Let me remind you of him. Put up his picture. That pastor went to jail for watering the plants of his neighbor. He was inside of his own community. He was harassed by the police. We now have the video, and we are the only outlet with this video so far. So let me first take you to the approach and the question posed to Pastor Jennings on that day. Here it is.
Here we go.
Howdy.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Pretty good. What you doing here, man?
Water flower.
Are they saying that, is that your vehicle?
No,
It's not?
it's the neighbor's vehicle.
The neighbors?
314, I'll be on 13.
Okay.
Yeah, we live
You live here?
now, I don't live here.
Okay. They saying that this vehicle is not supposed to be here and you're not supposed to be
You
here?
saying that?
They called about it. I don't know who called.
I'm supposed to be here. I'm Pastor Jennings. I live across the street.
You're Pastor Jennings?
Yes, I'm looking out for their house while they gone.
Okay.
Watering their flowers.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Now, do you have like ID and all?
Oh, no, man. I'm not going to give you no ID.
Why not?
I ain't did nothing wrong.
Well, you look, listen, I'm not saying do nothing wrong.
Dog, listen,
There's a suspicious person.
Look, I used to be a police officer in Goodwater. Don't come here with that. Okay?
Look, man, don't do this to me. There's a suspicious person in the yard, and if you're not one to identify yourself,
Oh yeah, like he's so suspicious. He's watering his plants. What the heck?
The store that got broke in. I live right over there across the street. Who called y'all?
that's what we got to figure out. But first,
you live here?
He don't live here.
You think
I'm not saying nothing about.
You have no right to approach me if I ain't did nothing suspicious or nothing wrong. Told him I'm a pastor. I pastor until I don't hear.
Sir.
You want to lock me up? Lock me up.
Nobody wants to lock
me. I'm not showing y'all anything. I'm going to continue to run these flowers. I don't care who called y'all. Lock me up and see what happens.
Wow.
I got much more video. So right now, officers are approaching an individual. Here's what we clearly know. The owners did not call the police. Watering somebody's plants, not suspicious.
Exactly.
And it does not create what's called probable cause in order to engage in an investigation and arrest. But because they could not put this black man in his place, because this black man did not yes or boss them and do everything they said, because this black man actually knew his rights, here's what they decided
Stand
to
up to
do.
the cops.
Simple. We got one that's not listening to it. Look, man, let me see your phone. Let me see your phone, dude. Just calm down, okay?
No.
Stop.
I like this.
Okay. We're just trying to talk to you and see.
I don't want to argue with you, okay?
All right, go ahead and do what you got to do, dog. Do what you got to do. Go on and lock me up.
Look, just have a seat.
It's already a lawsuit. It's already a lawsuit,
Yes,
dog.
sir. Yes, sir.
It's already a
Okay.
lawsuit.
Just have a seat, okay?
Okay? Already a lawsuit.
Okay, look, man.
Who called y'all?
We
I don't have to ID
You will not listen.
I have a call on you, all right? You have to identify yourself to me. You understand what I'm telling you?
No, I don't. You wait, watch how you want. Take me down, book me. Go do what you need to do. Go do what you need to do.
You know that gentleman back?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Does he have
He lives right there.
Okay, does he have permission here to be watering flowers?
He may because they are friends.
Okay.
And they went out of town today, so
Right.
he may be watering their flowers.
Okay.
It'd be completely normal.
Okay, that's fine. If he would have said, "Hey, I got this," gave his identification because he's a suspicious person. He said that's not his vehicle; it's their vehicle.
We
Okay.
have a call. Like,
Yeah.
we're here because we're called here. I don't know who called, but somebody did.
There's a reasonable suspicion that you're here. It's not a crime.
Yeah.
If you would have said, "Yeah, here's my name, here's everything," we're like,
I told
"Okay."
him my name.
You didn't tell me your name.
I decided. He asked me who I was. I said,
You didn't give it to me when I first
Pastor
asked.
Jennings. Pastor Jennings.
That's not a name.
But
That's
still-
a pastor.
Yeah.
I need your
The way
name.
y'all handle this situation was totally wrong.
Well, listen,
You racial profile.
we're not
You
racial
don't know what
profile.
you did.
No, sir. No, sir. We're not about
I
that.
told
okay?
you I was here watering the flowers. But listen,
How do I know that's the truth?
I
Anybody?
had the water hose in my hand. I was.
How the he said, what you selling one of the flowers? What the fuck?
Dumbass cops.
Stupid.
How do I know you're watering plants? Dumbass, because he's watering plants. That's how you know.
That's what I said, man. I said, well, how do I know you are? Motherfucker, he's got a hose out, he's watering the plants. What else would he be doing? Would he be stalking neighbors, harassing like that? Come on. God, these cops are stupid, man. Their cops are stupid. I mean, there are cops these days that are fucking just outright stupid as a box of rocks. Straight up.
No, detective, investigator.
Yeah.
I got more video. So now, what has happened? Neighbor, all right, a good white woman, right? A good white neighbor has validated. Now, did the police officer say, well, Madam Neighbor, I need to see your ID because I just can't trust your story? No, he trusted what she said 100%.
Yeah, here's another problem too. Those cops were questioning that blind and said, I'm representing it. Well, that's just right. He said, I'm a pastor of the church. I'm a pastor of the church. I'm here to water and flower. That's not a crime. He's not doing illegal. He's not suspicious. He's wandering around the neighbor's flower because the neighbor's out of town. But then those cops go after the question that lady didn't ask for ID, took what she said on face value. That's the problem we have with these subversive abuse, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have people that take some people words at face value, but you're going to have these same people like they're going to question on what others are saying. Well, I need to see proof. I need to see your ID. I need to see your receipts.
I need you to catch that.
Yeah.
The officer trusted what the white woman told him about the black male resident in that community. He did not trust the black male who told him why he was watering the plants, but he trusted the white female on face value. That's called implicit bias.
Yes.
Now, here's where the cops decide to still charge the lawful resident, Pastor Jennings, and the pastor was correct on the law. The cops were incorrect. I'm going to show that in just a moment.
Okay.
So they decided to charge him and they lied. Here it is.
So it's just obstruction? Obstruction. I'll just do obstruction.
Obstruction of governmental operations.
Yeah.
We're here to investigate a call. He won't give us his name or any other thing. Yeah, we told him he was trying to call the owner, but still, I need his name. You know, we gotta have his name.
Yeah.
I'll take him over to the PD for you.
Yeah, I'll go get gas.
If there's no in the bond book, if it's not listed, just do the lowest one, the 500. I don't know if it's going to be in the bond book or not. That way we won't be overcharging or anything like that. He seems like a reasonable, nice guy. I don't understand.
Yeah. He shouldn't. If he's a good water policeman, he said this ain't an identifying state. Yes, it is.
Talk to us. Well, she does tell us it's a mistake and all that stuff. But at this point, he's already collected the charge. Once we place him on arrest, we can't unarrest him. Does that make sense?
This is so simple. And the neighbor just told him this morning, please water the plants and take care of them.
He said that, but it was all afterwards. It was all afterwards.
Yeah. What you doing here, man?
Water flower. I'm supposed to be here. I'm Pastor Jennings. I live across the street.
Yep.
That satisfied every legal requirement, and I looked up Alabama law. Got something to expose here.
Here we go.
Now, the pastor said if you arrest me, you're going to get sued. That's exactly what has happened. Once again, this is an indisputable exclusive. Let me give you some background.
Here we go.
Pastor Michael Jennings, as reported previously, was charged. Those charges were later absolutely dropped. He did say he would sue. Let's put up his... Boom. Those are two people you don't want to see coming.
Right there, see?
So Pastor Jennings is represented by National Civil Rights Attorney Harry M. Daniels and Bethany Embry Jones of the Embry Law Firm. Daniels and Jones sent a statement to me directly. They said, and I quote, Pastor Michael Jennings did nothing wrong. The responding officers asked him to identify himself and asked why he was at the particular resident, and he did. He told them he was Pastor Jennings. The name of the church he pastors, he pointed out his address across the street and told them why he was there watering his neighbor's flowers. So you got to think about this. Think about this. Not only did he say who he was, he told them where he worked. He gave them his address, pointed directly to his home, and gave them the reason for his presence, which he did not have to. But then there's a deeper search into the Alabama law. So unfortunately, that was not good enough for these particular cops on that day. They chose to arrest Pastor Jennings without a scintilla of arguable probable cause to do so, according to the attorneys. Notably, Pastor Jennings was under no obligation No obligation
Here we
to
go. Here it
identify
comes.
himself.
Ready?
Pursuant to Alabama Code, Section 15-5-30. It's called Stop and Identify Law. Because he was not in a public space, which is required. We are thankful that, like so many other, we are thankful that Pastor Jennings is here today to tell his story and did not become a hashtag like so many other people of color. So the cops were wrong. They were incorrect. This is not an issue about identifying who you are. It's not what it is. In order for that law to apply, you must be in a public space. Being in a residential yard is not considered a public
private
space
property,
by law.
your own yard.
The officers were wrong, and they arrested them anyway, being cowards that they are. That's a damn shame. The guy in charge, put him up. This is your chief of police. His name is Rick McClellan.
Rick McClellan.
Chief of police for Childersburg, where this took place. So now we have the video. Now we have the rest of the story.
Yes, we do.
Now the lawsuit is coming. And yes, these cops have engaged in defunding the police because they will have to settle or they will lose in court. All right. I know it's a lot to this story. David, what are your thoughts here so far?
Well, look, this is totally about the cops' own ego, right? Because if they actually managed to put their ego aside and actually knew how to use this thing called Google, they could have found out in 10 seconds that Mr. Jennings was a pastor. They would have confirmed that, yes, he lived across the street, and that would have been the end of it. But because these cops are so offended because somebody doesn't want to provide an identification when they don't have to, then the cops have to go and make up a bunch of nonsense. And this idea that, oh, well, once we put him under arrest, then we can't drop a charge, that's also nonsense. So I hope Mr. Jennings, Pastor Jennings and his church, I hope that they don't have to pass the plate around for decades to come, that they get so much money out of this local police department that that church is able to add a new wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. And that's the problem with cops, you know. And you see, he was on the private property while the Neibors flowers. Just because the fact that these cops, because these cops were, well, probably getting butthurt, little sensitized, like little pussy, little snowflakes. The fact that this guy, this pastor, stood up to the cops, knew about the law, and knew he was in the right, these cops are law. These cops didn't like it, so they decided to make up a charge of obstruction. I remember I think it was a couple years ago, I was just having my Arizona iced tea. It was a warm day, playing my keyboards, during the day. Cop drove off of me. Wonder what I'm doing. It's like chilling, drinking some iced tea, playing my keyboard, my driveway. He said, "Well, we gotta play on some noise." I said, "It's some noise." I was like, "My keyboard, it's like my little portable keyboard is like freaking 6 watts, if that. 6-watt keyboard. It wasn't that loud." I mean, he said, "Well, we got to call have a noise ordinance, like really loud music." Like, well, it's a keyboard, it's playing music. The cop wanted me to get an ID. I said, "I don't have one ID." And he said, "Well, you live here?" Like, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I need you to go inside your house, go get your ID." Like, what for? I ain't commit no crime. But now I had to go get one because the cop was to make up bullshit. And that's the problem with these cops. You got cops out there just want to fucking go around just to fuck with people because they think they're above the law and they're blue line bootlegger with badges. It's like the old saying, "Happy fucks the cops day. Come and get some fucking piggies. Oink, oink, 3 o'clock. That's it. I'm out here. My job. Peace out. Much prayers, love, and blessings.